Good afternoon, and welcome to Keep Six Empowerment to Unlock the Justice System. Today, we have Jordana Goldlist, a Toronto criminal defense lawyer specialized in murder, drugs, and firearm charges. Jordana is joining us today for another great episode of this interview with no other than Toronto's one of Toronto's number one artists and rapper, Bizz Loc, live with us from Joyceville Institution. Jordana, please go ahead.
Thank you for setting this up, Biz. Thank you for joining us. This is an amazing opportunity. Richard and I talked about doing this interview with you probably about a month ago when you started putting content out on Instagram, talking about mental health and really putting mental health and the mental health of inmates specifically at the forefront through your lyrics. And we jumped on a call together and said, this is amazing because nobody talks about it. Everybody's embarrassed, everybody suffers in silence. And that's part of your message. So we really wanted to do this interview with you to obviously give you a further opportunity to really bring this to the forefront, but also to go a little further in depth about what's happening in our prison system and how much inmates are suffering without proper resources, which of course translates when they're released, right? Because we're eventually letting people out. And if we're not providing them with the supports they need, we can't be surprised when they end up back in the system. So thank you for coming out and wanting to speak openly about this. It's so important.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me, Jordana.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. So first off, I know you and I been correspondent through the organization with the support. You reached out, when is it, about a year ago, maybe longer, regarding a situation at the Toronto East. I was able to advocate for it and the SAFER program, and brought some things to light within the justice system when it comes to wrongdoings and advantage of young individuals that was being abused by the justice system itself. With that said, that program itself, with the support that we received from the community, I did some interviews with some of our Toronto Star newspapers, CBC News. They brought things to light. The program itself was shut down. How have you been doing, with your mental health and so forth since the last time we connected?
Maintaining. It's not easy, but at the same time, it's not easy taking a 12-year sentence, but at the same time, it's my actions that got me here. So at the end of the day, I can't really too stress about the time. It's just more living conditions and stuff like that that would make me stress. It's more of my living conditions that would more take a toll on my mental health, like who I'm living on range with, et cetera, et cetera. It's definitely a transition coming from provincial to federal because they no longer segregate general population and protective custody. So like we actually came in the paddy wagon in separate compartments, but as soon as we got here, we're all mixed together, so still like, mentally making that transition, being able to live with diddlers, sexual offenders, and et cetera, like those things not really too frequent in provincial, so
right.
Yeah, but other than that, swallowing the pill, just doing what I have to do, just looking forward to getting back out there and trying to stay positive while I'm in here.
Right, that's really good, really good. Jordana, go ahead.
So I believe you sent Richard some lyrics, and Richard, you've managed to produce those. I'd love if we can play that and maybe get Biz to go through, what that was like and what message he's trying to share and spread and what conversations he's looking to have, if that's okay with you, because this is important and this isn't being discussed. Everybody hides it and it's just causing further trauma and turmoil within the community.
Right, sure. So Bizz Loc sent me the lyrics and I was able to get it produced and found. So Biz, here's the final production of the lyrics you sent through your family to us here. This is through Keep Six Records.
What up, y'all? It's Bizz Loc. Shout out to that Keep Six organization for raising awareness on mental health. Mental health is a battle we fight ourselves. Struggling in my cell, I ain't asking no one for help with the nastiness I've been dealt. Just imagine the way I felt. Active, you know me well. Put on max and then I got 12, living lavish in every jail. I'll adapt to the climate. Summertime ain't hotter than I am. Unstable is a way to describe the mental that I have. Enduring all the envy and jealousy from my right hand has made me reevaluate friends I have and where I stand. Therapy could possibly help me or make a difference. I shot a couple men, but I'm asking God for forgiveness. Fentanyl I sold could have killed a parent or sibling. It's time to make a change to this fucked up life I've been living. Abandonment issues tend to worsen when I'm in prison. Accepting the fact that I've been stranded by all my women. But how could I be mad when I never showed them commitment? I'm focused on myself in this sentence of double digits. My mentor, trying to be positive, but I'm stressed though. This gang raid has all the mandem looking like Bengals. My fan base told me I wasted all my potential. I raise awareness knowing my lyrics are influential. Mental health could alter our behavior, make us feel like a failure. My shorty write me, but I don't ever mail her. I told her I'm stressing, mommy, I see you in the trailer. My sentence was 12, I went to Lindsay and signed a waiver. I'm here in the Ville, prison life, no more sobriety. That loud pack help with depression and the anxiety. I'm all by myself, but I still don't got no one trying me. I try to be humble, but a demon still live inside of me. Suppressing my anger, trying to make it back to my nieces. I'm losing my mind, I'm trying to salvage all of the pieces. I gotta stay with it, keep it hidden inside the creases. The penitentiary could be deadlier than the streets is, for real.
Could I be the one you love? Could I be the one you love?
I don't know how to share it as a screen share.
Okay.
I do have it on my drive on the laptop.
Maybe this is where we would like put in the screen share and like clip it and put that edit it.
Yeah,
edit
I
that
think
in.
we're gonna have to drop that in before the episode comes out. We'll take this short, we'll do some edits on it because
Exactly.
it was hard for me to hear. It was probably easier for you, Richard, but I could tell me and Biz were struggling to hear and
Never had a
really
word.
garbled. Yeah, it was really garbled. It needs to be like a shared screen. So, I mean, Biz, you remember the lyrics that were sent to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just if you want to ask me anything in particular, like I'd like to know, like just bring up the bar. Say, what did you mean when you said this? Like, what did you mean when you said that? You know?
So I just want to, let's go general, right? You're inside right now. And for people that don't know, you're serving a 7.5-year bid. It was 12 less time served. Do you want to give like an overview of what happened?
So I was picked up, me and a lot of people from the neighborhood, just people in the city, period. A lot of us were picked up on a major project, Project Sunder, gang raid. And I was able to get the criminal organization charges dropped and a few other charges dropped as well, and just took responsibility for the things that I was caught in possession of. So a firearm and some drugs located in my rental vehicle. And I pled to those two things there and got criminal org and all the other stuff dropped. So basically I got 12 years for gun and drugs.
And when were you sentenced? When was that?
I believe December that just passed.
So how do you deal with that mentally? Double-digit sentence. And it comes at a time like you got picked up when you had a number of singles that were circulating and doing really well. One of which was a song about gun violence in the city. And this isn't the first time you've spoken out about the harms and the trauma caused by the lifestyle, but nonetheless, it's a lifestyle you end up in as a result of the circumstances you grew up in. So it's sort of this double-edged sword. mentally, how do you deal with that? Because people don't ever want to talk about how hard that is and what that feels like. And it's something that you broach in your lyrics.
Honestly, I let the world in on my little secret. I just say Scooby snacks. No matter what gets thrown my way, I just say I eat that like Scooby snacks. 12-year sentence, Scooby snacks. Let's go. I signed the waiver. Let's go. Here I am in Joyceville doing interviews on mental health, telling you how to keep it together. But this is how I keep it together. I don't have no formula. You know, I just feel like a big statement in my brain that keeps me pushing is I say to myself, God never gives us nothing that we can't handle, you know? So regardless of what it is that I'm facing or what it is that I'm going up against, I say Scooby snacks, baby food, Gerber, like I just say like, whatever, I can handle it. I'll make it through this. And like, I'm not gonna sit here and stress every day until my time comes. No, I'm gonna sit here and try to make as much noise as possible from in here, come up with different game plans or formulate a new blueprint for when I get out of here and try to do something better with myself, you know?
And where do you get that drive to still do better? Because a lot of people would be crushed by a 12-year sentence. People would be crushed. And you see it, I don't have to tell you that, it's all around you. There are guys that, you know, they talk as though they're not crushed, but the reality is they crumble and they are not able to see the other side of that. They're not able to find what to look forward to, you know, and here you are 6 months into a 12-year bid and you're putting out songs about mental health, trying to educate other people about some of the struggles of living that life in hopes for them to make informed choices. So where does that drive come from in you?
Honestly, I feel like ever since I made that one track about is it worth it, and I felt the feedback, like that positive feedback, like I just felt like my words have a lot more power than I expected. And I just felt like, honestly, like the positive feedback, I strive off of it, you know, like that stuff, all of those things take a toll on someone's mental health as well, being as clouded up or having notoriety like I do or whatever. Like it could go both ways. People could bash you and that could mess with your mental health, just like all these celebrities that are famous that go through mental health crisis and rate-tay. Like it's because they're so exposed to public opinion, you know, and not all of us can handle it as well as others. So like, yeah, the clout may have took a toll on like certain aspects of the clout could have taken a toll on my mental health, but the fact that I was able to help others and people hit me up saying, yo, that song actually did something for me. Like, yo, I felt that, yo, keep this up and rate-tay. Like, honestly, I just kind of strive off of that. I strive off of being able to help other people. I strive off of being able to raise awareness. I strive off of being able to use a platform that was kind of was birthed off of negative energy somewhat. If you guys know my history in music, it was like birthed off negative energy, and now I'm able to make a transition and send out a positive message in an aggressive manner. And that's exactly what the streets need. Like, you know, like they need it coming from somebody that was actually in it, rather opposed to somebody that is watching all of the activity from a sideline and then coming and preaching to people saying, yo, you need to do better. You gotta get out of that life and da-da-da-da-da. Like they're not gonna really take heed to that advice because you never came from that walk of life. They look at you as alienated, like you're a different species than us. We come from this walk of life. You can't come tell us how to live our life. You know, with me now, it's like all these things that all these young boys and young people are trying to get involved in and rate-tay. Like I already lived all of that. I already did all of that long time ago, like not even to say like recently, like long time ago, I've been active. You know, I'm 32 now. I've been active since I was 14, like really off the porch. So like I have a lengthy list of experience that I could definitely influence people to take a better route in life so that they don't necessarily end up being a failure to their family or letting down those that are closest to them, because that's definitely what I did here, and catching this bid and like making some of the wrong decisions that I made, it definitely affected those that I love and those that are closest to me. So it's that also that strives me to do better. The fact that I don't want to be a black sheep of the family no more. I want to be able to do something to make my Dukes proud. I want to be able to do something that my nieces could look up to and be like, yeah, like, you know, we just did a clothing giveaway, like, and my niece pulled up to one of their locations, you know, so like she pulled up there. Even though I'm in jail, we doing clothing drives from block to block throughout the city. And my niece is seeing that the type of impact that I do, the type of positive, like I give back to the community. I try to raise awareness and rate it. At least that way, it's not like they're just seeing only strictly negative music coming from me. They see a positive light coming from me at the end of the day too. So that's really what drives me.
And you're doing those clothing drives through P2P, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Tell people who don't know what that organization is and what you've tried to accomplish despite the fact that you're behind bars?
Yeah, so P2P is my not-for-profit organization that I started when I was out there to try to give back to the community, give back to the less unfortunate, give back to single mothers that have lost their children to their sons to gun violence and stuff like that. Like, these are my targets. I also wanted to raise awareness. I started raising awareness on natives because I feel like the Aboriginals, like, they were taken advantage of similar to blacks in back in the day. So like I felt like they needed to get that spotlight on them too, because like during this whole Black Lives Matter campaign, like I feel like everybody just focused on that, and then nobody really, like, everybody just neglected everybody else's hardships, you know. And I feel like their hardships were equally as devastating as ours, you know, in a certain sense. So I felt like I definitely wanted to raise awareness on them as well. And basically, this is something that I did for my mom to make sure she has something positive, like, to look at me and say, like, yeah, like, you know, be proud of me. Like, you know, I'm actually doing things for people. Like, I know I made you disappointed for a long period of my life, but, you know, I'm making change, I'm growing, and I'm trying to guide other people to not make the same mistakes that I did. So what we did so far through P2P was just set up backpack giveaways, try to push, you know, back to school products. And that was in the middle of the COVID crisis or whatever, pandemic or whatever. So we're just pushing masks on them and hand sanitizer to keep the youth them safe, and push education on them, because they are our future. And I feel like it's them that we have to really focus on, and because the next generation is what's going to carry us in the future. So I try to do whatever I can while I'm in the position to do it. So that being said, like, we set up these backpack giveaways, and we just try to preach to youth them and say, like, you know, you're getting this because you're being good in school. You're going to be good in school. You're going to listen to your Dukes. All right, you stay out of trouble, see? All right, go on. You know, so, like, you know, it's good, positive vibes. Like, you know, I rented the ice cream truck and gave them all free ice cream and stuff. So, like, seeing the youth them happy was just like, it made the heart beat, you know? Just seeing all the youth them happy and seeing what a difference I could make, and the position that I was in. So yeah, that was when I was out there. Now I came in here. I try to keep it going by doing a clothing giveaway. We just we did a clothing giveaway the other day. I collabed with my boy Rich Noir from Cash Feelings, and we collabed with Kappa clothing line, and we gave away, like, I think it was like $300,000 worth of clothes or something. But yeah, we gave a lot of clothes away, you know, from 4 different locations. We went to my block, Eglinton. We went to his block, Weston Road, which is exactly where we did the backpack giveaways when I was out there. And then we did 2 more locations, which was Bleecker downtown and Jane and Finch. So like for big neighborhoods that, you know, like it was a big show out. We got a lot of people that came out and a lot of people left with clothes, and we had a funnel cake truck and a hot chocolate truck. So like, you know, everybody was well fed, and it was winter time, so they got their hot chocolate, they were nice and warm, they got clothes, you know. See, like these type of things, it gives me like, I don't know, like I'm passionate about it, because like if you never been in those shoes, if you never gave back, you wouldn't understand the depth of it, the feeling of it, the just feeling so accomplished by making somebody else's day, you know? Yeah.
You can hear it in your voice. Like you can hear it when you talk about giving back and doing these community groups. You've also done food drives, you've done back to school drives, you've done a number of things with P2P. And if people want to either participate or help, how can they connect?
They can hit me up on either on my Instagram, Ergati, or the actual P2P Foundation TO Instagram. That is how you can get in contact with my team that's running P2P. They actively have things going on, looking forward to working with the youth. Then we're trying to actively set up youth counseling. I have a lot of people hitting me up, and a lot of people that are trying to take part in it and be a part of it. So to them, shout outs to all of y'all, and I appreciate everybody's involvement so far and everybody's contributions towards the thing.
Yeah, it's very important. And even with Christmas, Keep Six and P2 had partnered and did a basketball game and pancake breakfast for kids for the holidays in Brampton, and you know that was very successful. So these things are important, and I can see your passion and how much it means to you, and I can really relate to it myself personally. And I just want to say thank you. I mean, even though you're going through your own struggles, you still be able to stand up and try to give young people different vision, and it's important. I'm sure you know what it's like. It's going on out here these days now, and it's hectic. So, and one of the things that a lot of young people are saying now, they don't have any mentors or somebody to look up and positive messages. So what you're doing is much needed, and there's nothing better than be able to get it from somebody who's lived that lifestyle, right? They tend to gravitate more towards it. So one of the questions I have to ask you is, when it comes to your music, like I had the opportunity of listening to some of your singles over the years and stuff that you've dropped. Since I've been, we've been in communication for the last while, I noticed even the stuff that you've sent out to Keep Six and Express It, you're on a totally different vibe. Your lyrics are a positive thing you're pushing out there. You're trying to reach a different demographic of young people and program their mind more or less. What is it that got you to that point? There has to be something in life itself that got you to the point that you say, you know what, I'm gonna be pushing this. You know, like the other day when you sent that, your family sent me those lyrics, and we able to master it for you. Like it's like it reminds me of somewhat, what am I thinking of? A Barry White or something, you know, like some real in-depth Teddy Pendergrass or something. It had so much information, and it wasn't the Bizz Loc that everybody would hear a track from. I'm sure when this go out here and we're able to launch it whenever you're ready for us to put it out, people will be amazed.
Yeah. What drove me to write music like that? Basically, you can only rap about busting heads and making up this fictitious bullshit for so long, you know, before you actually start coming. I'll tell you straight up, what really made me switch it up is my mom. She told me, yo, all right, I played free calls for her. She's like, all right, ooh, but all right, man, enough of this stupidness, man. If make a song with substance, content. And I made her write down, all right, ma, give me point form notes is what you think I should write about, topics that I should cover. And then she did. And then I wrote P2P, power to the people. That's what she wanted, you know? And once I wrote that song, I started the not-for-profit and everything because of the feeling. When I wrote that song, I put it together. I had to do research on every topic that she put down so that I was informed, well-informed, and I could spit about it with passion. And I was able to do that. And ever since, like, I never looked back. Like, I dibble and dabble with both. Like, I still have my like initial rap, grungy rap that I came up off, but like, no, I like to more write about stuff with substance now compared to just strictly gunplay and violence and ray-tay-tay, you know, this gang life, gang ting. You know, like, I rather push a message that'll like deter you from that, you know?
Right. I understand.
How have your fans received that? Because you've got a huge following, you've got very loyal support and have for a long time. And how does the change in topics, obviously you're still you, obviously you're still progressing, like your talents through the roof. And we've talked about that numerous times, you and I, that I just think it's a shame that you end up in the position you're in because it's such talent that could take you so far. But how has your fan base responded to that shift in talking and essentially glamorizing the life to now trying to expose what that life has done to you in a negative way?
I mean, I think a lot of people take it a lot of different ways. I think the youth that were listening to me for that rah-rah stuff are disappointed. They're probably looking at me like, what the hell's wrong with him? He's changed. But I'm sure there's other people that used to look at me like, yo, this guy's always saying the same shit. This guy bang, 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 bang. Like, oh, give me a break. Like, you know, I bet you those guys are more appreciative of the things that I talk about now, you know? So like, I guess like it's hit and miss, right? Like some people like the transition, some people are rocking with it, some people aren't, you know, and some people like are not looking for that. That's not what they're into right now. And I don't wrong them, you know, I don't wrong them. Like at the end of the day, if they're on the badness thing, they could go ahead and listen to my old stuff because ain't nobody harder than that anyway.
That's
So
fair. That's fair. And those kids that are disappointed with the change, I promise you, they're the ones that are calling me on the phone and saying, "Miss, you got to get me out of here, Miss. I can't take it. I can't be in here, Miss. Miss, how long before my bail hearing?" And I don't mean to laugh, but that's the genre that, you know, they think it's the life and it's great to be that hard until you get caught up in it. And I think that's the message you're trying to send now, especially with, you know, 7 years in front of you that you need to get through. And I think that's, you know, the point of you calling into question that very lifestyle and is it worth it, right? You're not telling people it isn't, but maybe it isn't, and maybe it's something you should think about.
Yeah, for
Definitely.
sure.
It's definitely with the climate we're in right now, I think more of that is much needed. And like you have a lot of talent, and there's no question about it. I personally, my introduction when I said you're one of Toronto's top underground artists that's still alive. There's no question about it, right?
Thank you.
You know, you've got a great talent, and I really hope you know, we're here to support you and continue to support you in any way that we can. And I'm hoping that you can continue to send us some more, you know, lyrics, and let's push it out there in the community. That's, you know, give them something that when we want to hear the new you, or when you come out and get through your situation, there's some substance that people have gravitated to over the period of time, right? Because you've got the time on your hands, and that's, use it to your advantage, and also use it that you can inspire other people, and that young people do not go down that path, right? We have to close the door at some point and distract them the other way, right? And a person like yourself has that opportunity to do it.
Appreciate that, yeah, for real. That's definitely what I'm on, you know. Just trying to give the youth them a different narrative compared to what they're used to, you know, they're or what they're seeking. You know, I know they're seeking certain narratives when they listen to artists like myself, and
Right.
they might just get hit with a curveball that they weren't expecting. That's so real that they're like, holy, like, I'm not used to this rap, but it's actually hard. Like what he's saying is facts, but like it's not what I'm used to. But like it's so hard. Like I can't. Like yo, this track slaps. Still, it slaps. It slaps. Yo, run that back. Run that back. You know.
Well, we hope.
Hopefully, I could do that and have them feeling like that with positive messages. You know, and that's what the intention is. That's what the goal is to be versatile in every aspect for every topic and all of the above, and to be able to overall just have a positive impact on the community rather than just only negative, you know?
Well, we hope that when everyone hears it, we drop it. I hope they keep on running it back.
I do too.
You know, and hopefully, you know, send it to your mom and, you know, get her to get it to her, and so she can hear it, and also, and then we'll get it out there. It's really, really good. One of the things I wanted to bring up, even Jordana, you were speaking about even the lyrics and his whole songs and stuff like that, and even the fact that the younger people that might have been listening to it that can't transition into what he's giving out now, they're the same one calling you. What advice would you have for these, with what's going on right now? What advice would you give to these young people right now?
Right now, we're seeing, especially in youth, just the mental health is on a decline. The level of violence is through the roof. We've never seen anything quite like it with kids really young. Like we're talking 13, 14, 15. Guns are now standard, knives are standard. It's really sad. I think it's the result of, you know, locking people up for 2.5 years and then just letting loose. I think that there's a lot of pent up negative energy that isn't being addressed. And as we've all talked about in, you know, various facets of our life, there is very little community support compared to how much money is now in policing and, of course, incarceration. And if we shifted some of those resources to help with mental health among youth, we would be seeing, I think, you know, a decline. We're not going to solve anything, but we'll see a decline in some of the suffering that's happening out there. So, you know, I don't ever tell people what to do. It's not my role. And, you know, clients that come to me, I tell them, like, I'm not your career coach. I can't tell you how to live your life, nor do I want to. I don't take on a parental role, but I would hope that some of those who see this lifestyle as being glamorous, and it's not something that they've just fallen into because of, you know, their other situations, but they've actually sought out. I hope they listen to Bizz's new music and think about whether or not this is the lifestyle they want to pursue, because the reality is there are significant consequences. And for me, it's heartbreaking when people don't realize, you know, first of all, what some of these consequences are. People still think that, you know, you can carry a gun and not go to jail. And the government is getting more and more strict now with gun laws, especially 2 weeks ago, they just changed the bail provision so that if you get caught with a loaded restricted firearm, you have to show a JP why you should not be in jail. The presumption now is detention. And a lot of people don't realize this. You can tell by your reaction, Bizz, you didn't realize they added like the Section 95 offenses to the reverse onus provisions. So you don't have to use that gun anymore. You don't have to shoot that gun anymore in order for it to be your onus now to prove why you should be released on bail, even though you're presumed innocent. So we're going to see a lot more pretrial detention. We're going to see a lot more people that aren't making the bail conditions that they're now expected to meet as a result of their own circumstances. And, you know, it's setting up the trap, and it's setting up the cycle that we all speak about. And so I really hope that people pay attention, you know, to some of these more positive messages that are coming out of the hip hop community, because there's a lot of glamorization. And again, I'm not saying one way to live is wrong or right. You got to choose what's right for you. But in so doing, I hope people are making informed choices. And, you know, music like Bizz is giving people that information that they can then use to decide on what they want to do with themselves. Like, hey, I was in this. We can listen to any of the old lyrics and see just how deep Biz was into that lifestyle, and for you to turn around now and say, I don't know if it was worth it. I don't know if this is right. And by the way, my mental health is suffering because I'm facing the next 7 years in jail because of the lifestyle that I was living. And now I want to make changes and give back to the community. That's huge. That's huge. We don't see that. We're not seeing that. And I think the importance of that message from you, not from me. I can say that shit all day long. Nobody's listening. But from you to spread that message, to talk about how good it feels to give back through food drives and clothing drives and help kids in school, that's huge. And it's absent right now. So honestly, I can't say it enough. It's really fantastic for you to find that strength and want to turn it around and help others.
Yes, definitely is. So Biz, regarding your mental health, what is it? Is there anything that you are getting while you're in custody, support wise, from Correctional Service Canada?
I mean, access to the gym.
We laugh, but it's like the average person who isn't part of the system thinks you go to jail for rehabilitation, thinks that you go to jail and you've got all this counseling to help you make better choices. So you're somebody who's prepared to address mental health head on. If that was something you wanted to like cope with in custody, what's available to you?
So that's the thing. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and fabricate and say like all they have access to is the gym, because I know there are programs that take place in this institution, but I don't necessarily know what they are because I haven't been enrolled in any of them. So like, but I know there's like native program. There's like I know there's some sort of guidance counselor, the mental health nurse or something like that. But then again, like you have to apply. I think you have to put in a request to see those people, unless they give you like an initial. Upon everybody that comes into this institution, I think they're given like one of these like multiple choice type things to kind of evaluate your mental health upon arrival to a federal institution, not provincial. Federal institution, I think it's called COMIS or something. Basically, like you just fill out these multiple choice, and it's really at your discretion. You could do it if you want to do it, or you cannot. It's up to you. Me personally, I chose not to do it because I just wasn't in the mood that day. But other than that, like that kind of gives them an insight into your mental health and how you feeling or how you rocking. In regards to like, if I was stressing on a day-to-day and without going to the YDM and saying like, or writing down a request to whoever it may concern, saying like, yo, I'm really stressed out, I need to talk to somebody, like, what do I have access to? I'd say like the gym, there's treadmills and stuff out there that you could go on. There's a yard that you could go run laps and stuff. Other than that, like, I don't really too know anything else that, go use the phone or something, but really and truly, the phone is what kind of can have certain people's mental health decline, so at the same time, I really don't know what everybody has different vices for their stress to relieve them of their stress. Like some people could like work out. Some people could just go on the phone and talk to their shawty all day. Some people could just sit in their cell and watch TV. Everybody deals with it different. Like me, I used to like write music, like I haven't been doing that as of lately. Like, I've been more so like, I don't know, bro. Even though my mental health is not like at an all-time high, it's not at an all-time low neither. I'm not where I used to be mentally, even though I'm saying Scooby Snacks and Ray Tay, I'm not where I used to be. I'm not my full self, like it clearly, this sentence and all of this subconsciously took a toll on me, but I wouldn't be able to pinpoint where my mental health had deteriorated. I'm just sitting here saying I'm strong, I'm good. I'll be all right. Like that's how I play it. Other people are stressing. Don't worry, you'll be all right. I got more time than you. Nice it. Like stop bitching, stop complaining, suck it up, buttercup. You'll be all right. Like, but really and truly, like here I am going like if I'm this tough guy and like nothing phases me and Ray Tay, but little do I even know, little am I aware of that, yes, all of these different situations and altercations may have taken, or very well did take, a toll on my mental health, but I cannot tell you how, in what way. I cannot tell you how I cope with it, other than saying I'll be all right, like I'll be good. Like, you know, I couldn't tell you what do we have access to, the gym. If I'm stressed, like, yeah, maybe I'll go to gym workout. That's just. But like, other than that, like, I just see people doing laps on the range all day, walking back and forth. Like, bro, I had to put my blocker on my window because I'm tired of watching people pass by back and forth all day, like looking in my cell and shit. Like, I hate it, like, you know? Like, you know, like everybody deals with their stuff different, copes with their stresses different. And like, you know, like, I can't even really guide someone into the right direction in coping with their stresses, because I really don't know. I don't even know how I cope with my own. Like, you know,
That's fair, and that's the most honest response. But you know, people think that you go into jail and there's all these programming set up, but what you just described is you have to, number one, self-identify that you're having mental health issues in order to start the process of getting help. And a lot of people, because it's something we don't openly talk about, they don't realize that what they're feeling is actually connected to their mental health and to their well-being, right? That anger and that frustration and that, you know, they hide their sadness, but obviously it exists. Nobody wants to talk about it. And most importantly, their fear. You know, I think a lot of guys are afraid to admit that they're afraid being in jail, but it's a place that breeds fear. You know, I hear it from the guys that will open up to me after I've known them for many, many years. And the reality is everybody feels it. Nobody wants to talk about it. And that turns into anger, which of course then gets, you know, released into the public when someone comes out, because it hasn't been addressed. And so someone would have to be able to identify that in themselves and then reach out in order to get the help they need before they get released. Otherwise, you're just sitting there bidding your time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but then again, remember, I'm in a holding institution. This is a reception, so it's only a temporary stay till you get to your mother institution. I'm technically only here for 3 months now. I'm past that. I'm actually 4 months here now. I don't know what's taking so long, but whatever. Like, in mother institutions, I believe you have access to more programming. I believe like I know for a fact you have like violence prevention programs and stuff like that. That's probably a course, a program I'm going to have to take. But you also have access to schooling and like other things that could like preoccupy your time in your cell, and you're not just kind of in your cell twiddling your thumbs, because that could also lead you to stress about a lot of things too, overthink a lot of things too, you know? So you're definitely a lot more preoccupied in your mother than you are here in this type of holding.
Is this your first pen bid?
No, it's my second.
How long was your first pen bid?
9 years.
9 years.
9 years. I did 2/3 of that, so 6 years.
And during that time, did you take advantage of any of the programming that was available to you?
Violence prevention programming, high intensity violence prevention. They forced that on me though. What I took advantage of was the schooling. So I graduated high school in the pen, and that's all. I really had I was a PEC worker, so it's called peer educational counselor worker, and it was my job to basically go around and gather reports on people's mental health, and if there's anything stressing them, like and then do what I can to help them. Like if they get into a fight with their girl on the phone, or like, you know, or it's also my job to hand out like the bleach and the condoms and the dental dams for either if whatever is going on in jail, if that was the case, but I doubt that's the case. It was more for the trailers and for safe usage of like needles and stuff like that. So like it was my job to like push that safety amongst all the inmates and stuff like that. So like, you know, that was a lot more productive than just sweeping, mopping hallways. I'll tell you that much. There's a lot more interaction, you know, and it was basically whoever is in that position is in a position to really benefit those that are suffering from mental health or suffering from any other health concerns or anything like that. So I was actually working for the healthcare center, you know, so that's who I report to. So when I make these little the sheets of what people's problems are and what I did to fix or help or my assistance. I bring that to the doctor, the nurse, or whatever, and she takes it. And like that's part of my job, you know. So that's what I.
People honest with you, like about their mental health. Leave the safety portion of that aside. But like, were people honest? Did you feel, because you're a good judge of character? Were you able to were people opening up to you if it was one-on-one, or did ego play a huge role such that, oh, I'm fine, bro, I'm fine, but you knew and you could tell from either their behavior or their tone that they were suffering and they just didn't want to talk about it?
Tell you the honest truth.
Yeah.
I
We're not
didn't
gonna name
talk to
names
nobody, bruh.
What?
I didn't talk to nobody. Nobody talked to me. I was younger those times. I was pissed off. Nobody wanted to talk to me. and like I swear. And like I just make up their shit and bring it to the nurse. Like, yeah, this bullshit problem here. This is what I did to fix it. I was the star role model. I swear.
Stop this. Stop this.
That was my youth those times. I was only 20, 21 those times. So, I was finessing the system still. But like, yeah, like nobody would come up to me. No inmate really gonna go to inmate and cry on his shoulder. Like that's not how we rock in here. Even if I was be stressed and all, like I might go to my one dog and be like, yo, my shawty just left me. Like, oh, like, like my one dog. And I'm not going around telling everybody. I'm not, and definitely not, oh, that's your job. Like, yo, here, yo, come here. Like, yo, my shot just left me. Like, what do you think I should do?
Exactly. You're not talking to the guy with the clipboard walking around taking everybody's info. That's the ridiculousness of that program, right? Like when we step back, we can laugh about it, but we are tasking another inmate to assess and assist in the mental well-being of an inmate in what is arguably the most violent environment in Canada. There's no question our jail system is, when you look at environments across Canadian culture, probably one of the most violent. And so you've got these male institutions where ego plays a huge part, testosterone plays a huge role in how people are going to deal with each other. To think that that's the setup and someone thinks that is a good idea to help with people's mental health is ridiculous in and of itself.
It is.
But in a way, like that could be right and it could be wrong, because like in the same breath, we were just talking about who better to spread positive message than somebody that lived the life like myself and spread positive awareness on mental health and all these things, because I really come from that life. So basically, like, maybe.
But were you spreading that message back then at the first bit? Was that wasn't the message you were spreading?
No.
Like now you're certainly equipped.
No, what I'm saying is,
sure.
what I'm saying is, like, people would be more receptive of the message because it's coming from me. So maybe like people like in this instance, I'm saying like people might be more receptive to go talk to an inmate because it's an inmate, but at the same time, no, because we don't want other inmates to know our personal business and like what's going through our mental and like personal business and all that stuff. Like, yeah, we're very I don't know, me personally, I speak for myself. Like, I'm very I don't want people knowing my business, like, so like I'd more rather talk to somebody of a professional behind a closed door and be like, yo, like somebody that I know is knowledgeable in this lane, in the mental health lane of things, like in the mental health aspect, not just because you live that life. I'm not gonna go vent to somebody because he lived that life. I might go vent to my brethren because that's my dog, but I'm not gonna go vent to somebody else just because he's in the field and, oh, like, yo, maybe you might know. No, I'll more go to a professional expecting them to know. Expecting them to know, how do I go about this? How do I conduct myself? How do I wrap my mind around certain things? Like, I'd more ask a professional. And that's how it should be, to be completely honest. When it comes to mental health, because mental health is not a joke. Like, depending on what state your mental health is in, it could really ruin lives. If not yours, then somebody else's. Your mental health could ruin somebody else's, So like, because of that, like, I feel like it is something that should be taken more seriously. It's not something that should be just sloughed off like, oh, like, you know, like it's something that yeah, you'll slough it off when you don't really acknowledge the severity of it. You know, unless you really go through mentally ill phase yourself, like like a downtime, like the loss of a friend, maybe the loss of a family member, maybe like some sort of depressive state, you need to kind of slip into something. Or maybe if your confidence is shot, like people could get their confidence shot and then they don't know how to move. They don't feel themselves. They're not feeling themselves. They don't know what to wear. They don't know how to do their hair. They don't they're just a mess internally, mentally. And like, those are like, it's people like that that make me realize like how severe mental health really is. When I went through it, when Richard came and saved me from that SAFER program there in the East, like when that first started, bruh, my mental health was on a decline. Like I felt it, just not having no TV, being locked up 22 hours a day, even sometimes even less. So it was down to like 23 hours and 20 minutes we were locked up, 40 minutes a day for COVID, because we're droplet precaution, because one of the hideouts on our range, not the max inmates, but the hideouts that they put us with on this max range has COVID, and now we all have to go on droplet precaution because you chose to put us over here with a contaminated hideout. Like, thanks. Now we're locked up 23 hours a day and no TV, no nothing, no the phone time. We just came up from being on range six hours a day, right? So like, I literally felt my mental health going downhill those times, and boom, Richard came out of nowhere with the Keep Six org, and he just gave me something to like channel that negative. Like I was able to, I was like, yo, my mental health, like, yo, this, remember Richard, I told you this SAFER program is taking a toll on our mental health because I felt it. It was taking a toll on mine. So in order for it to take a toll on mine, I know it's taking a toll on other people, because my shit don't get affected like that. For me to break down and start breaking down and start tweaking, like thinking I'm shaking it, like, nah, bro, like something's got to give. Like, nah, bro, this is not right, So
it's so true. It wasn't just you alone, it was everyone. I think we had about 15 individual called asking me to help and advocate for them, and it was the same situation, just mentally, and it was also the physical abuse. It wasn't just the mental, it was also physical abuse.
Exactly.
But I know
the mental kind of led to that physical abuse. I know it, because they're trying to come power trip on us and rotate because we're mentally going through it. Then they want to come with their shoulders, chip on their shoulder, because this is the max range. So they have to be extremely aggressive with us or whatever, or rude to us, or just deal with us different than other inmates. And then when they come with that energy, and during this time where we're locked down 23 hours a day, like, we're like, why the hell are you coming and giving me energy? Like, who is this, my guy? Like, like, it triggered a lot of people. And that's what, like, it led to a lot of altercations over there, and that's what made it so rowdy, like it's their hostility as well as the lockdown and the hardships that we were already enduring. So it was all around a lot on our mental health, and like that's what really got me involved and wanted me to engage in raising awareness on mental health, because I felt my decline, and honestly, like there's no worse feeling than having your mental health going downhill. Like you feel slumped, you feel emotionally slumped, mentally slumped, like physically drained, like you might not even want to come out of bed just because your mental is shot, like, like, so I know I really understand the severity of it now, and that's why I'm just trying to do my part and pay my due diligence to the cause in raising awareness.
Thank you.
It's huge, because a lot of people don't even recognize it. Like, we talk about people needing to reach out and get help, but I know a lot of people don't even realize that the symptoms they're feeling are connected to their decline in their mental health. And so even just by talking about, the increased feelings of aggression, the frustration, or, you don't want to get out of bed in the mornings. Like, these are all symptoms and can be symptoms of a decline in people's mental health, but some people don't realize that. And so even just by talking about it and raising awareness and bringing it to the surface, hopefully people who are suffering and watch this think, wait a second, I've been feeling that, maybe this is what it's connected to. Because as self-evident as it was for you, and it's amazing that you then turned and reached out to Richard and said, listen, we got a real problem here. This isn't just like doing normal time. This is affecting us in ways that are far greater than just being in jail, and we got to fix this.
Exactly.
Which is huge and obviously very necessary, but there's a lot of people that A, don't recognize it in themselves, and then B, don't know how to reach out and get help or think they're not supposed to. And so for someone, in your position who has such a strong voice within the community, I just want to say, I think it's really incredible that you're able to recognize that in yourself, and B, speak about the fact that you needed to reach out, and hopefully that starts a better cycle for other people who are suffering.
Yeah, definitely. And Biz, I know we started late and Jordana has a sharp meeting coming up soon, but I'm gonna ask, we're talking about mental health and you're here. The people in the community have not heard from you in years. You've been down for a minute now. Give us a freestyle before we go here today. Something for Jordana and I. Drop it.
Oh, geez. I didn't know you were going to be put on the spot like this.
We're going to put him on the spot, Jordana.
If I freestyle, it's not going to be positive.
Well,
you wanted me, you putting me on the spot, Rich. Like, it must be positive.
Give us something. Give us, the whole community haven't heard from you for a long, long time. Give them something, Biz.
I'm feeling lonely. Stressed on the real, RIP to my homies. Whether they in hell or heaven, I'll never know, G. I'm on my own, G. Moving low key. Kush penetrating my lungs, I'm blowing OG. Used to be a dime, now a nigga need a OZ. Reality hurts, so I'm drinking and I smoke weed. 40 full of OE or Colt 40 Fizz-Ab. I live in the trap, getting money where I reside. Touching the road, but I'm taking over this time. The fetties ain't holding me back, I'm going to get mine. I ain't popping off without dumping when I grip mine. Leave a nigga quick for the 5th time. That's enough still, like,
All right.
Oh yeah, that is yes, you're welcome. And the reason why I don't be dropping stuff is because like I'm only just trying to focus on myself and focus on the positive things right now. I know the people that want music. And mind you, I still have, just for those that are paying attention right now and watching this, I still have music, my own music that unreleased music that I'm gonna give for my dedicated fans that want that type of music. So don't think like I'm closing that door, severing that like that aspect. I have to make music. I'm trying to be more versatile with the music. I'm trying to make music for more and more different people now, rather than just one demographic, and also make music that can also inspire that one demographic that I used to have such a hold on. Like, I want to inspire them to do better and inspire them to like look at me and be like, damn, like this nigga is accomplished and he's out here spreading awareness and like like he has it and this is what he's choosing to do with himself. This is what he's choosing to do with his platform, with his clout, like that's just, I just want to help make a difference. Just like you guys are both doing, and the same way you guys appreciate me and my lyricism and I appreciate both of you for all the efforts that you do, not only for inmates, but for people on the road. You, Richard, you made a huge impact on the East Detention. Hands down, one thing that's for sure, the East Detention, you're a legend in the East Detention. Jordana, I call you as to any time I need anything, like, yo, Jordana, yo, this little girl, yo, my niece is trying to be a lawyer, like, yo, I need your help. Like, you are so amazing. The fact that you're so grounded, you work so hard to get to where you are right now, and the fact that you're still grounded and you're still yourself and you're still trying to help others rather than just doing what it is that you have to do for your job, which is a lot of work as it is. Being a lawyer is not easy. So like for you to go beyond that boundary and still write your own book and still help Richard with raising awareness and et cetera, like taking flights, et cetera, et cetera. You're just amazing. You're a superwoman yourself. You know, and I appreciate both of you guys for allowing me to be a part of raising awareness with you guys, and whatever I could do to help, I'm involved. All right.
No, and we thank you for your honesty, because it's few and far between. I don't mean that people come out on these shows and lie, but a lot of people have a very difficult time expressing themselves the way you have. And, you know, to have the self-awareness and to be confident enough to speak so openly about the struggle is really phenomenal. And I give you so much credit for that. And we appreciate that, because you're the voice they listen to, not us. We're not out here shaking our fingers and telling people what to do and what it's like, because they're not listening. But you that have walked those shoes and are in the place you're in right now in life, both physically and mentally, to speak about this is really phenomenal. And so I can't stress that enough. You know, Richard and I try to send this message so that we can try to help others and help others cope, even just by knowing that someone else is struggling too. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, you have to make better choices, but just people are comforted to know that they're not alone in how they feel. And so for you to have, you know, that strength and that confidence to come out here and speak to us so openly, just thank you. Really, it's amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely. Thank you very much. And we really do appreciate you taking the time. And I just want to also thank CSC for making the arrangements and giving us the opportunity, and you the opportunity to join us for this interview today. And, you know, it'll be something that our community will get a lot from, I hope. And we hopefully that you continue to work on yourself, continue with the positive message that you're sending, and come out a better person. And hopefully you'll have a whole bunch of albums coming out too.
Hopefully soon.
You know, so, you know, I just want to say again, thanks everyone for joining us again for another episode of Empowerment to Unlock the Justice System. Jordana, Bizz Loc, it's my pleasure. And thank you guys all for joining us again.
Thank you.
All right. Peace out.
Salute.